Is Spill the Bean guilty of a good time? Hi, my name is Karosh, and welcome to another episode of the KJP Show. I'm your host today, and what we like to do on this show is celebrate and elevate indie games and game developers. And that's just what we're going to do today. Spill the Beans is an indie game developed by Skeletal Games, a new indie studio that's a small group of friends based in the UK and Canada. And this group of friends came together to start the studio with one goal in mind, and that's to develop a game about complex and diverse characters. This game is a visual novel murder mystery sort of, except it's not a whodunit, it's a you-done-it. And what I mean by that, it caught me off guard too when I first heard of the premise. You're coming into this cafe and there's a secret recipe and you're the thief or you're the one that's guilty. But what you're trying to do as the player is to essentially frame someone else at the cafe that of the characters that they have available, and kind of manipulate, investigate, and kind of change the scenario in a way where someone else gets their hands caught in the cookie jar, as one would say. And it's not just like a regular cafe; it's a fantasy setting cafe. So there's like a goth vampire. There's a cat. The boss of the place is a talking cat. There's skeletons, there's elves, there's all kinds of fantasy lore here, and the characters are very interesting and cool. Each of them is very unique in their own way, and I loved that aspect of it, is that they, as a visual novel, it carries itself very much off of the backs of how engaging is the story and how engaging are the moment to moment. And so when you're going into conversations with each of these characters, you're having dialogues and they're conversing with you, you're learning about their personality, their quirks, their eccentricities, and their charm. I think very much there's a kind of a fun, cute charm to every character that while you're setting them up or you're manipulating things, you're also kind of like, I don't know, a little bit on me. I was feeling a little guilty, a little pulling on the heartstrings a little bit here and there, but in a fun way, all in a lighthearted way. And as I said, it's a very cute, cozy, kind of charming type of game. My own experience, I haven't played too many different types of visual novel-esque games, but the ones I have played, they really have the strengths of, and they really need to have the strengths of, like I said earlier, strong character dynamics and character interactions and an overarching narrative that I'm invested in. And I think what this does is the framework of what it is kind of Clue-esque, murder mystery-esque, and the character interactions are very fun and engaging, such that I'm very invested in what's going to happen and how I shape that in based on my decisions. And the thing that I wanted to say about my decisions is it's not just one set outcome of how this could fall out. They've developed this game in such a way that there are up to 14 or 15 different outcomes for what could occur, who could be at fault, and how that could be laid out. So it definitely lends itself to being replayed in numerous ways, exploring different interactions depending on if you talk to certain characters, how you interact with them, what you decide to do, and such and so forth. So I think that's the strength of it, that it leaned into and within the framework that it's developed, and I applaud it for that. Is Spill the Beans guilty of a good time? I believe the jury, myself, have come back with a verdict of guilty. Guilty as charged. Spill the Beans is guilty of a good time if you enjoy the visual novel style, if you enjoy charming character interactions, if you're a fan of the fantasy type of setting within a cozy cafe area, and just kind of that murder mystery vibe. If any of that sounds appealing to you, I think you'll enjoy your time with Spill the Beans. It was available recently on Steam during the Steam Next Fest, where there was a bunch of demos. I believe the demo should still be available on there. So if any of this sounded interesting to you, I implore you to check it out for yourself. Try it out. Let me know what you think. And that wraps up our impressions of Spill the Beans. If any of this sounded interesting to you, like I said, let me know what you think. Let me know what your experience was like, what you found interesting, what you didn't, what jived, what didn't jive. I think that's feedback that they would always appreciate. I would also be curious myself how our experiences differed, where they were similar. Let me know. And thanks again for joining me on the show, the KJP Show, where we celebrate and elevate indie games. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.